Hi, I'm Corey Chambers in Los Angeles. Thanks for joining me to discuss what's happening in Los Angeles real estate today. And someone just asked me on the LA Loft blog about when is a good time to buy? And so we're going to help answer that question right now. When is a good time to buy? There's a few different answers for that, so we're going to cover all of those answers for you. We're here in front of Alta Lofts, Lincoln Heights, Chinatown. This is where I put my time and money into investing in a loft here in the middle of Los Angeles. And it was one of the best investments I've ever made. And so I want to be able to help you to make the best investments that you've ever made. Right behind me is unit 115 for sale. And that is the lowest priced loft per square foot in Los Angeles. I don't think you'll find a better deal. I'm trying to talk over the San Fernando Road is a pretty busy street. Hopefully it'll slow down a little bit. So yeah, Alta Lofts is bigger, nicer, cheaper than most of the lofts in downtown Los Angeles. I just wanted to mention that to you real quick because unit 115 is 1,700 square feet. So some people need a big loft and they want it to be nicer and better and cheaper. And this sort of thing only comes around every 5 or 10 years. So if you think you can wait a year or two and get one like this, in this case, that strategy won't work. So come and take a look at this loft right away at altaloft.com or call me 213-880-9910 and take a look at this Alta Loft. So now, but to answer the timing of when is the best time to buy a loft. Now, not a loft, but any real estate. For this particular property, where in the building where I live, the best time to buy, if you want 1,700 square feet, the best time is now, because you're probably going to be paying more instead of less if you get one later, or you won't find one at all. Especially if you need a large loft like the unit 115 right here. So to answer the question, when is the best time to buy real estate? In general, we're going to talk not only about Los Angeles, but we're going to talk about the whole country. So the question is, when and where is the best time to buy? So I'm going to go back in time a little bit, because to really understand timing of when's is now the best time, is it going to be in a year or 2 or 5 years? We do have to look at the past, because the past does not exactly predict the future, but what else is there to go by? So let's start with 10 years ago when I got into Los Angeles real estate. Prices were crashing. It was basically the same as it is now when I first started to, that's when I was first planning to get into real estate. Things had already crashed a little bit more. Right now, prices have gone down about 1%. Some people think that we're going to have an exact repeat of what happened in 2008, 9, 10, 11. But we're probably not going to have an exact repeat, because things are not exactly as they were back then. So when we're talking about buying a place and we're talking about economics, we're talking kind of about two opposite things, two different types of thinking, because buyers are not thinking about economics. So the short, I'm going to give you a few different answers, but the short answer of when you should buy a place, for most people, they answer that themselves, and that is they should buy a place when they need to buy a place and when they have the money. So that's how people are going to answer that question for themselves. They're not going to rely on me or anybody else to answer that question for them. So that's probably the best answer, most practical and realistic answer is when you need to. The best time to buy is when you need to and when you have the money, because that's when most people are going to do it. They're not going to just rely on other people and then buy a place when other people tell them to. That's not the way that people usually do it. However, there are a lot of people that do want to and often succeed in taking advantage of good timing, so we'll go into those as well. My dog, I'm always walking my dog while I'm talking to you, and this leash is becoming completely dysfunctional, so I'm going to have to sort of untangle my dog, untangle his legs, and keep talking to you while I keep untangling my dog. So let's get into the other answers for when is the best time to buy a place. And so by the time I was helping people full-time, prices were still crashing. So that was around 2010, while prices were still crashing. Prices had already crashed a little bit and were crashing more in 2010. Prices crashed more in 2011, and they pretty much stopped crashing in 2012 in Los Angeles, in the loft neighborhoods around downtown and here outside of downtown Los Angeles. So that's how that timing played out. So I kind of knew that after 3 years of crashing, that prices were pretty much done crashing and were pretty much at their lows. So I ended up being correct, and it turned out that I had the timing and the money to take advantage of that bottom of the market, and so did many of my clients in 2012. And so they were finding that they were getting great deals in 2012. So timing. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's see if we can cross the street here. So then let's go ahead and skip to today. What is the best time? And let's get into today, 2019. What is the best time and place to buy a property to live in? So I've given a couple answers. Another answer to that question is if you time of the year. Let's get into time of the year to buy. Well, for buyers, the best time of the year is the most efficient and practical time is spring and summer for most home buyers. But financially, the best time is going to be usually winter, October, November, December. No, let's go. We're going this way, Wuppy Puppy. Come on. Come. Let's go this way. So those are the two answers for that part of the question. That part, two answers as far as what time of the year. So then we have the monetarily, or we have the big cycle, the big 6 to 10 year real estate cycle, meaning the big recessions and the big booms. So we're basically kind of probably finishing a big boom and probably going into some type of recession is what a lot of people think. People have relatively large amount of money, and some people feel they're being very smart and savvy to go ahead and wait for prices to drop at the very bottom. Well, that's going to work for some people. It's not going to work for everybody, because people still need to move or invest when they need to, and when they feel that property prices are going to be at their lowest, they're probably going to find now that that the price is not going to go down very much because of the way the economy is right now. But their funds will go down, their the employment will go down, because you can't have the super low prices without a lot of people losing their jobs at that particular time, and of wealthy people getting slightly less wealthy and feeling less wealthy and feeling more protective of their money, and the middle class losing their jobs or otherwise feeling less financially secure, and then poor people getting more poor at that particular time. So that's what happens when a few people will be able to snap up the good deals when prices are low, but they probably are not going to get that low. They're probably not going to crash to the point where they did in 2012, when I could see, by 2011, I could see that prices were getting too low, meaning that it was kind of like getting a free house or a free loft, condo in this case. So I got my free condo because I happened to, being a real estate agent, of course, it's easier to be at the right place at the right time, because you're looking all day long, 6 or 7 days a week, at what are the best places, what are the smartest places. And so not only that, but you're hanging out with other real estate agents who are all looking at the best deals and talking about them. So that's why I bought this Alta loft. Here it is behind me, the building. Oops, you can't really see it well. Oh, there you go. It's kind of right there. So we're on the other side. It looks a little bit different on both sides. So that's timing for you. I think I've covered the timing, but while we're looking at time, one thing we've learned recently from quantum physics is that time and place is two parts of the same thing. So we get to go into quantum physics while talking about real estate. My favorite. So there's no such thing as a time without a place or a place without a time. So we get to talk about place as well, because time is actually space-time, and space in every location is actually space-time. So while we're talking about time, we need to ask where, because different places are going to be a better time to buy it at different times. So when people ask me when, I pretty much know they're probably asking about either downtown Los Angeles or greater Los Angeles or Southern California. That's generally so that people don't usually have to say the place, because that's usually what they're asking. However, a certain percentage of people who want to buy property and have that income so they could get closer to retiring early and have passive income coming in. And if you listen to people that are successful and who really know investing and who don't have to work, they don't have to labor, they don't have to trade in their time for money. So that's ultimately what most people want, is to be retired or to still work, but work when they want, where they want, and more or less work how they enjoy working, which is more what I'm about. I'm not about total retirement, because that's why I'm a real estate agent, because if you are one of the few who can do real estate successfully, then you get a little bit closer to working in when, where, and how you want to work. And you can get a little bit further away from trading your time for money when you get successful enough in real estate. So I'm lucky I'm getting closer and closer to not trading my time in for money. I'm able to, instead of running around showing properties all day long, 7 days a week, I don't do that anymore. I'm able to spend more time on the computer, doing a little bit more intellectual pursuits. I think Whoopi the puppy wants to cross the street. And so that's when we're talking about where we want to buy a place. So it's about putting the thought into not just when, but where. And that's why if you have $100,000 to buy a property, it's not going to be in downtown Los Angeles. It's not going to be in Los Angeles. It's going to be somewhere else. So the good news is you've found the place right now to invest $100,000 or under $100,000 in a property that can have a positive cash flow that grows to be more and more positive over time, so that you are getting closer to retirement and getting more and more money without having to trade in your valuable time to get that money. So if you take a look at the LA Loft blog, and in the little search box type in FIRE, F-I-R-E, and you'll see a bit more about what I'm talking about, which is financial, what is the I for? I don't have it in front of me. But the R is for retirement. The I is for not income. The E is for retire early. Anyway, instead of me not remembering what, just get on the LA Loft blog and search for FIRE. And that's basically talks about owning these properties for under $100,000 that have relatively high rents that goes to you as your passive income. So thanks a lot for watching and listening today. I'm Corey Chambers in Los Angeles, and you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.